Well, hello. I'm back with another video with my friend Dewey. He's going to talk about his black soldier flies. So let's see what he's got to say, and maybe you might want to take this journey with him.
To the fly house. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce you to black soldier flies. I'm just getting into this now. Black soldier flies are a major composter. They eat buku food scraps. I had made some comments earlier on my red wiggler video. Check that out. It's on AJ's channel, but check that out on Dewey's red wiggler farm. I had stated that black soldier flies will eat anything that once lived. That is not true. They are not into high fibrous carbons like paper and grass and wood chips, such like that. So I just wanted to make a correction on that. Here I did some more YouTube research before I invested in this and whatnot, but my grubs came in today, so I'm very excited to get this thing rolling. If you want to step in here, AJ, I'll show you how the bin works. The bin is essentially, we cannot have the soldier flies drowning in their own, what they call leachate. It's leachate. It is not compost tea. It is more or less raw manure is the way you want to treat the leachate from these. With the worms, with red wigglers, you can use that leachate off the red wigglers as a fertilizer. It is not as harsh as what this is. So if you want to come in here, AJ, I know you're fighting the mosquitoes, but sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
We've got holes in the bottom of this 55-gallon plastic drum. There's 3 holes in the bottom there. I put a rack in the bottom. This is a chunk of stainless steel wire mesh, 16th inch wire with 16th inch holes. That's essentially to make a void in the bottom. We do not want this to go anaerobic. We want to keep it aerobic, so we need to have plenty of air ventilation.
So what does anaerobic mean?
Anaerobic means that you have a lack of oxygen, that is starving from oxygen, you'll get a putrid smell. One thing you want to follow your nose with the black soldier fly, if you come in here and it smells offensive, you're going to be drawing house flies and pesky flies versus soldier flies. They do not want anaerobic, they want aerobic air. So that's why we don't put in much more food than what they can eat in a couple of days. So I'm going to go ahead and set this bin up for you. And like I said, I've never done this before, so if any of you out there that have done this before and see something that I did wrong, please let me know, because that's the way I learn. I was born an idiot just like you were. All of us were born idiots.
Yep,
so
right.
I have to learn. So I put a collage together here of everything that I've studied on YouTube and gathered information about how the soldier fly works and blah, 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 blah. So essentially, I'm winging it here. So if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. I am going to put in a bed down at first. What I did here is I just soaked some, this is just wood chips from a planer. I help out up at farming a yesteryear in Keister, Minnesota, and we planed some wood, and I use this for chicken bedding. But being I don't want it really dry, I just soaked it in a bucket of water. So this is what I'm going to line the bottom of it with. And remember, I told you they're not into wood chips. They're not into high fiber like carbon and all this and that like we feed our red wigglers. They're more into the way I understand it, their favorite food is the nasty American fast food diet. You throw a Big Mac in here, they will go to town, brown, tear that thing apart. It's quite amazing, I guess. Now all of this here, I'm gonna second guess and say yeah, because I don't believe nothing until I see it. So supposedly this is supposed to work. Now a lot of the research I've done, they use coconut shells or rice hulls to do this. But you know what? I've got wood chips. I've got these granular wood chips from the planer. So this is what I'm going to use. Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
That's just regular wood, not treated lumber, right? It's like...
No, this is wood that we cut. Up at the farming yesterday, we cut lumber and whatnot from actual natural logs. So this hasn't even been kiln dried or nothing. This is raw wood.
Do you think you could put cedar in that or not? Cedar wouldn't be recommended.
I probably would not put cedar in here. Cedar is a very aromatic wood. So I don't know if that would affect, which brings up a very good point. One thing that I had researched, if you really want an excellent documentary on the black soldier flies, check out Living Web Farms.
Living Web Farms.
Living Web Farms, yes, it's an awesome documentary. The guy talks about the soldier flies, and he goes through the biologics of it and the food eating and setting them up and all. I mean, very informational, and he seems pretty intelligent as far as what I could tell. But here again, I was born an idiot. I don't know jack diddly about these things. So I'm learning about them.
Yeah.
So, essentially what I've done now is I've laid the bed in of the wet wood shavings, and I'm going to put in their crawl out shelves, which this is just simply, I took a piece of rain gutter that I had up by the shop, and I carved these out, bent them. You want a 30 to 45 degree angle from where the food scraps are out. These are self-harvesting grubs. Once they reach to their stage where they want to pupate and become flies, they will make their way up here, come out here, fall into the bucket.
So a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said after when they're the larva stage, is that what they start off, the pupa or whatever?
There's many stages from start to finish. There's small, and don't ask me all this technical BS because I don't know all the things. All I know is they go from a little itty bitty worm. Let's see if we can get a video on here.
The little bitty ones can eat, right?
The little itty bitty ones are eating. Now I don't know if we can focus in on this, if the lighting is good.
They're moving.
But there's 5,000 little babies in here with some other medium that he has in here. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like distiller's grain. Dried distiller's grain is what it looks like. Okay. Which, if they're anything like red wigglers, they ship them in dry because it helps them with the weather and do the shock treatment.
And you said that adults don't eat.
Adults do not have mouths. The adult fly do not have mouth parts, so therefore they do not eat. Thank you again. There was another correction I needed to make on that other video. I said that they had 4 to 5 days to find a mate, breed, and lay eggs. It actually comes down to 5 to 8 days.
Oh, wow.
That they have to breed and lay eggs, and then they die. So these here are pretty much, I'm pretty sure that these are crawl outs, which means that they've crawled out, which means they're ready to dig into the ground and hatch into flies. I got 500 of them in here. And the reason why I got 500 of these guys and 5,000 of these guys, because these guys here are going to do the work on my compost. And while they're in here composting this material down, they're going to be emitting a pheromone that supposedly wards off all these pesky flies that do have mouth parts that are biting on us and this and that. Because they're a very aggressive critter. This is a very aggressive species. They eat like horses. But anyways, what I wanted to do is get these guys going, because as you look around here, you can see all the vegetation I've got around here. I am hoping that I've got enough vegetation and moisture around here that they have a perfect environment for them to do their own breeding and getting the female flies pregnant and laying eggs and keeping the cycle going. Because come fall, after the first frost, I have to take this whole bin, which I got it set up to put wheels on it. I take this whole bin, I'm going to wheel it over to my blacksmith shop, and this thing's got to stay in the shop over the winter, because these guys are only good for 40 degrees from the equator, north and south.
Oh, wow.
So anything beyond that is too cold for them. They cannot survive the winter, so we have to make it adjustable for them. I know I'm not supposed to play God, but you know what? Mara, that is for the goddamn grubs, not for you.
The dog's eating the grub food.
Yeah, which she loves it too.
So what's in here?
So essentially what this is leftovers from shooters. I'm working with local restaurants. I talked to the local coffee shop too, because these larvae can live solely off of coffee grounds.
Oh, wow.
So I'm working with the local coffee ground shop, or the coffee shop in Forest City, to be able to get their coffee grounds, and I'll throw those in here too. This is more or less bread scraps, biscuit scraps, eggs, hash browns. I feed this to my chickens too, but my chickens aren't getting near the nutrition value out of this as if I run them through these soldier flies first. This soldier fly larvae right here is 46% protein and 30% fat, which is an awesome protein source for the chickens. And the way I understand, they love them. I'm not going to give them those because I want to get my herd going.
Yeah.
So I'm all about experimentation, and I want to see what these critters like best. So I've got 3 different products here to play with. I've got food scraps that is mostly bread, eggs, and hash browns, pancakes. There's some pancakes in there too, or whatever. I cut it up for my chickens. Then I've got some mash here that is rhubarb mash from a batch of wine that a friend of mine made. So that's more or less the pulp that's left over from the rhubarb mash. So that's strictly just rhubarb mash. That's what's left after it was done. And then of course here I've got the scraps that I've been collecting from my kitchen scraps, which we've got banana peels, onion peels, coffee grounds, eggshells, all kinds of your kitchen scraps that you should not be throwing in the hole, because when you throw them in the hole they create methane gas, which enough of us got enough methane gas coming out the backside, we don't need to add any more. You know what I'm saying? Throw that in there. Hey, if you can't have fun and laugh, what the hell is the point in all this mess?
That's
you know
right. Yep, you're right.
Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up 3 different sections in here because I want to see what they like, because I don't know. I don't know what they're eating. So this is more or less carbohydrates is what I'm going to call this. This is carbohydrates as far as bread and whatnot. So I'm going to dump that in one spot. We'll kind of level that out. Now I've got a lot of food going in here for the amount of grubs I've got. You should never put in more than what they can eat in 3 or 4 days, because here again we do not want this to go anaerobic.
Okay.
So you don't want to throw in more than what they can eat, which I thought they were coming sooner, so this wouldn't be this full, but what the heck. Let's throw it in here and see what happens.
So is it okay to fluff the bedding up, you mean? So
yes, it is.
It's okay to do it every now and then?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That is something that we will follow on later on down the road. We will do another follow-up video if that's okay with AJ.
Yes, sir.
We will do another follow-up video. Now this here has also got some peach in there. We work some peach. So this is peach pulp. This is not nearly as harsh as what the rhubarb pulp is. But this is peach pulp from some peach wine that I had made.
Smells like vomit. But the
Well,
soldier flies are going to eat it, though.
Well,
But it smells
but
like
is it
wine.
offensive?
No, it's not offensive. No,
it's not
you can
offensive.
tolerate it.
Yes, and that's what
Yeah.
we want. We want to be able, anytime we come up here and smell like that, if it's offensive, we've got an anaerobic system, and we don't want that, because that's what's going to draw the house flies.
No, but it smells like some booze a little bit.
It does. There might be a little in there. We might have some happy larvae here, baby. Either happy or we're going to have some mad drunk larvae, one or the other. I don't know. I know my chickens, I'll tell you a little side note. I had some distiller's grain that I had left over, and I set it outside to let it dry out because I wanted the alcohol to evaporate off before my chickens ate it. I kind of forgot about it, and I come out and they kind of helped themselves to it. But
Oh, man.
I didn't notice any difference in them.
Yeah.
They were all seemed pretty happy, yeah. So I'm not going to put a lot of this in because I'm thinking that rhubarb is very high and acidic.
Okay.
So I'm not going to put a lot of this in, just simply because I don't know how they're going to act. But I will know in a couple of days where the larvae go to as to what they like. So I'm just going to pour a blob of this in here. I don't want this going anaerobic. So we're just going to make a little experiment plot here.
It's kind of like a smoothie.
Oh yeah, isn't that beautiful?
That's nice.
That smells like rhubarb yet. Wow. So we've done thrown all our food in. Now it is time to introduce my babies. My babies! I'm going to put my babies in. I'm so excited about this, people. I'll tell you, I know it might sound weird that I'm excited about this, but I do love the idea of us humans being a little more conscientious about how we take care of our carbon footprint of what we put on this earth. I mean, granted, people say you can't change the world. I call BS on that. We can. We are so heavily populated as a Homo sapien species that yes, we do make a difference on this planet. Whether you like it or not, we do make a difference. Mother Nature's one mean bitch, and she can handle it. But I'll tell you what, she will put us in the dirt before she's going down. I promise you.
I hear you.
She will do that.
I hear you.
So I'm going to put their ramps in there. Get them all ready. I'm thinking I got pretty close to a 40 degree angle. And then I did leave one spot back there that's just wood chips.
Okay.
So I'm essentially going to watch and see what happens with these guys. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to Put these guys out over the top, right through the middle of that track.
And how many are these?
There's 5,000 babies in
wow.
here. 5,000. I don't know if you can zoom in on the... Get the movement on there. It's kind of hard to see them. They're pretty small.
Yeah. What I also heard is you can hear them eating. Actually, when they eat, you can hear the... Makes a weird sound.
It's the same way... Whoa. It is the same way with the mealworms. The mealworms are the same way. Where red wigglers, you can't hear that. But the mealworms, you can listen to them chomp down.
That's what I hear.
And whatnot, you know, I mean, because they're pretty aggressive eaters too.
Okay.
But they're more into the grains and stuff. They're not gonna eat this stuff at all.
Okay.
They're more the ones that the farmers are worried about getting in their steel bins and having a heyday.
Mm.
They'll raise havoc.
Oh wow.
Big time in feed bins and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're big time into that. Now these guys, I don't know what to do. I am thinking what I'm going to do, being this late at night here, I'm almost positive that these are crawl-offs. I don't want to dump them all in there.
Okay.
So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here, being this is an experimental deal, I am going to sprinkle some of them along the two edges here and then throw the other half in there. So I'm going to take about half of these and take a chance. And tomorrow morning I'll know. Here again, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Mm-hmm. These things are awesome containers, dude. Awesome containers. They work good for a lot of crap. Don't throw these away. I know they're recycled, but you know what? Recycled plastic's a bunch of BS. It doesn't get recycled.
Oh, wow.
So you'd be surprised how much plastic is stacked up in bundles and bales that never gets recycled. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it takes a lot of energy to create this piece of plastic. So use it. 5-gallon buckets, same way. Use them. Don't throw them away. These totes, don't throw these things away. Dude, I mean, we spend... almost slipped there. But anyways, we spend so much on trying to create these plastics that we use. I mean, that's one of the parts where I say that man is the most unnatural species, because man is the only creature on the face of this earth that creates stuff that Mother Earth cannot digest.
That's right.
We can throw this plastic container in the ground. It will be there for 5,000 years. It'll still be there.
I believe it, yeah.
Same way with this plastic container here. You throw this wood in there, that's something that nature created. This thing will rot away. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice about half of these. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here.
Yeah.
Don't really care. What am I going to lose out? But I am just going to sprinkle them along the ground. I'm hoping that they are crawl-offs. I did not ask the guy that. And
so what does it mean to be a crawl-off exactly? What does
What
that
it means
mean?
to be a crawl-off is once these critters have reached the stage where they want to pupate and become a fly, they will crawl out of this food source because they're done eating. They only eat from them little babies to this stage here where we're at.
Okay.
So I want to check, for one, I want to check, make sure my ramps work, because I know they're close to crawling off, or they are crawl-offs. But they will crawl off, crawl up the ramp, drop into my bucket. Okay. That right there, these little guys right here, them are perfect chicken food. Perfect chicken food. Now, I don't know how he went about. I know he did not sterilize these, and I don't know his environment. I would chow down on another worm, but I don't know what he did here. I'm pretty sure I'd be safe because I'm an honest believer that if you subject yourself to bacteria, your body becomes immune to them. Okay. People freak out when I say I'm not afraid to sit down to a plate of salmonella. You know
wow.
I mean? It lives, it lives around us all the time, AJ. It lives, I mean, you're breathing salmonella right now. You are. Now, granted, you get a rotten, slimy piece of chicken, you know, that smells bad when you pull it out of the fridge. Yeah. I wouldn't eat that crap. Yeah, that's right. But you get a fresh piece of chicken, I do not put that slimy chicken juice on my seasoning bottles. So I said earlier, welcome to the fly house, and as if you look at this house, it's nothing real heavy duty. This is chicken wire. This down here is chain link fencing. Originally, from here on down, used to be a compost bin, and I had the chain link fence around there to keep my dogs out. But regular natural compost, hot compost, is way too slow for me. I like to see things happen faster, so that's why the soldier flies are here. That's why the red wigglers are here. But essentially, this is not to keep the flies in. This is simply to keep the predators out. Being the black soldier fly is such high larva or high protein food source, I'm going to have coon and everything else that are going to want to eat out of this bin. I need to keep them out. So this is mainly just to keep out coon and possum and skunks and them little critters too. That little Mara, leave my bugs alone.
That's a composter.
She's in there eating my freaking bugs.
Oh man!
Come on, out of there.
Oh, I stepped on one of your dogs.
You leave my soldiers alone. She's in there eating my soldier fly. Good grief. And then, oh, we forgot to put the burlap over. One quick note too. These guys are definitely photosensitive, so they do not like light. So I am going to throw, oh wow, did you see that? There was one already crawling.
Oh.
Yes, they're already crawling.
Oh, yeah.
So them are crawlers. These guys are crawling up. So these were crawl outs. They're crawling out of the mat. They don't want nothing to do. They're done eating.
Okay.
They want to go out and pupate or go out and make flies. So
okay.
I am not going to put this in here for now. I'll put this in tomorrow morning because it's going to get dark out here anyway. But essentially the beauty of the burlap is that it keeps the house flies want to lay their eggs on the compost or on the food scraps where black soldier fly do not. I did point out the egg things, correct? Did I point out the egg?
Oh, no.
Essentially, this is where I want my mother flies to lay their eggs, and these are just stacks of cardboard. So she lays her eggs in here. They'll lay them adjacent to the food scraps, but not on the food scraps. So she lays her eggs on here, and then, or in them pockets, and all it is cardboard. That's all it is. And she'll fill all them pockets up with eggs. Each mother fly will lay approximately 400 to 500 eggs.
Oh, wow.
In her lifespan. So then them drop out and drop down. So you can imagine if you do the math, I got 500 flies. If they all pupate out and make flies and lay eggs, this bin should grow immensely. So essentially that's what the cardboard is for. And they lay their eggs and the cycle just keeps going and going and going. Like I said, after the first frost, this entire bin is going down into my blacksmith shop. And as I said before on the Red Wiggler video, which you need to go check out, it's kind of cool. I thought it was an awesome video.
I thought you did a great job. It was really informal.
Yes, so go check that video out too. But essentially I'll put them in the shop, and I keep my shop right around 45 degrees. Unless I'm working in there, it'll get up to 60 degrees. So I might even have larvae pupating because the life cycle. I'm surprised you didn't ask me this, AJ.
Oh,
what their life cycle is.
How long do they live, Dewey?
Their life cycle. Their life cycle can last anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks, as far as going from egg to pupa stage, in 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the temperature, or it could be 5 to 6 months, depending on how cold it is.
Okay.
Because they go into their own dormant stage.
Okay.
And it could take a lot longer. So I don't know, being their natural habitat is about 2/3 of the way into Missouri. We're in northern Iowa, so I'm about 320, 330 miles from the 40-degree longitudinal or latitudinal. I don't know which one it is. Anyway, I'm a long ways. We're a long ways away from them. But these guys came out of Washington, which, by the way, I want to put in a pun for Northwest Worms is where I got these guys from.
You said Northwest Worms?
Northwest Worms.
Northwest Worms. Look them up.
Yep. And that's where I got them from. I got them in less than a week, so they did very good. I ordered them late one night, Tuesday night. I ordered them late Tuesday night, and they showed up today in my mailbox.
That's cool.
And they look very healthy.
Yep, and they're alive.
I'm very pleased with them, so they look good. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please do pass it along if you want. And if you give one little rat's you-know-what about this planet, keep spreading the word about we need to take better care of the way we're treating this planet, people. We do make a difference. Whether you think you do or not, we do make a difference. That's all I have to say. Thank you, AJ, for your time, man. I appreciate it. And these mosquitoes are eating me.
I know. I want to say thank you too, Dewey, for taking time to get together once again. So leave a comment, guys. Subscribe. And thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.
Please
Bye.
let me know if I'm screwing up.